External links in Kumu are used for two basic reasons. One, to take a user to some content somewhere else, or to bring content to the user in the context of Kumu itself. Now, for external links to access information to take the user someplace outside of Kumu itself, the structure of that, the way that you code that is to use a left bracket, some label, and a right bracket, and then put the HTML or the URL in parens. Now, that the default within Kumu is to take the user to somewhere else and open that reference in a new tab, unless, of course, the reference happens to be to a Kumu URL. This is a link to the Kumu Markdown guide, and if you clicked on this, it would actually open it in this window, which is really annoying. So that if you happen to do that by accident, you can simply use the back arrow to back up, and it'll bring you back to the place that you were, but it will take time for it to reload the project in Kumu. The best thing, if you know that it's an external link, if you do a right click and tell it to open it in a new tab, it will do that, and then you can simply get back to where you were. For when you code an external link, such as this, when you click on it, it will open that in a new tab. So this is one way that you use external links in Kumu. The second one is to embed video. The older form was an exclamation mark and some text label in the brackets, which is not displayed, and then the YouTube reference / with YouTube / embed, and then the code that actually is the identifier for that video in YouTube, and it should produce a video right here, like this one right here. This, if I look at the code, this is the code. It so that it produces the video, and you can watch it right here in Kumu itself. Though for some videos that are embedded, this particular view is so small that it's not easy to see whatever is presented in the video itself. So the developers came up with something called Widgets, which actually allows one to display the video in what's called a light box, so that rather than actually embedding the video in the profile page on the left-hand side, it opens it on top of the context that you're currently in, so that the standard form for that is to use double brackets, to put the source ID, and some reference to you as to what this is for, even though this reference doesn't display, so that if this particular YouTube reference was done, it should have produced a link right here. Well, it doesn't, because of what I said about the parsing problems, parsing Markdown code blocks. What it should do is give you, embed with widgets. This is not right. Oh yeah, okay, sorry. So this is, I'm sorry, I get carried away, and then this has to be redone anyway. So this typical form would give you the same thing that you got the other way. It's got a video embedded in the context of the profile page. Though when they finally introduced light boxes, so that you can go ahead and put a label, the HTML, and then a question mark, light box produces this option so that it displays the video right on top of the context that you're in. The advantage to this is that you get to watch the video and you haven't gone to another tab someplace and lost a sense of where you were in the model that you were looking at. The second form of this, sometimes this is a little bit too small, though once you actually start this video, you can expand it to full screen, or you can actually go look at the video in YouTube. The second form of this is to do a question mark lightbox equals full, which will open it to about 95% of whatever window size you're looking at, which typically is sufficient so that things in the video are clear. But as I indicated, you still have the option to go directly to YouTube or to view this in full screen. And if you click anywhere outside of this window or click the little X mark, it'll close it and take you back into the Kumu environment that you're in. The other use for external links is to embed a video, an image in the profile page for a particular entity. And the way that the format of that is, it looks a lot like for coding videos, exclamation, some note which doesn't show, which is probably a reference to you or whatever, and then the URL, and this specific code, which is right here, produces this image, which is pulled from this location. Now, note that when you reference graphics on the internet, there's no way to actually pull a graphic into Kumu and have Kumu manage it for you. When you embed images, if you have someplace that you can store your images, well then they're reliable. But if you're simply referencing images somewhere out on the internet and you plug them in, you're then sort of at the mercy of the internet, because the content of the internet is constantly changing. So you might come back to your model tomorrow or the next day or next month and find out that the link is actually broken because somebody moved the image or deleted or whatever. So we use a utility called Cloudinary, which I will talk about in the next lecture, to actually manage images so that I'm confident that the images that I use will be there tomorrow or the next day or next month or next year. And it's a free utility to the extent that any individual is likely to be using it in the context of developing maps in Kumu. You can also affix images to the element itself. That's what this little block up here in the upper right is for. If you click on that, it will give you a place to enter the URL. Up until this point, if you have not entered a URL, this attribute won't be on the profile page. Though once, and it's here now because I've actually done this at one point in time. So if I go find an image, and this is my version of Cloudinary where I keep all of my images, and I go ahead and select this image and click copy the link for it and go back to here and paste this in. Notice that I now get an image here, but the image is not managed for you. In other words, you have to either use an image that's small enough to fit into the size of the element, or you have to increase the size of the element to fit the image, so that in Cloudinary it is generally very convenient to use the small versions of the images, so that when you paste them in, now that I've done this the first time, I need to do it down here, put this in here. It's oh, what did I do? I think I copied the wrong one. copy image URL, paste this back in here. There. So it's still a little big, but it's better than it was. So you, depending upon the images, and as I'll talk about, you can use Cloudinary to do a very extensive array of image management tasks, and then referencing them becomes reliable. So this is sort of the array of uses for external links or external references within Kumu, and in the next video or in the next lecture I'll talk some more about Cloudinary itself and how you can use it to keep track of the images that you might use in the context of a map. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.